Could the Bible have predicted an unimaginable devastation like nuclear war? While nuclear technology didn't exist in the times of Scripture, there was a vivid apocalyptic imagery that can be seen in the Old and the New Testament that has left many scholars wondering, are these ancient prophecies describing events that could unfold in our modern world? From fire and brimstone to catastrophic destruction, on a global scale, the parallels are striking. Stick around as we're going to dive deep into the mysteries of Revelation and other scriptures and explore whether these ancient texts hold clues to humanity's most terrifying weapons. This is Brian with a Redefined-Life. The threat of nuclear war feels closer than ever. It's fueled by escalating global tensions, geopolitical rivalries, and the modernization of nuclear arsenals. With over 12,000 nuclear warheads worldwide, and the conflicting involvement major powers like the US, Russia, and China, the risk of miscalculation or deliberate action is heightened. Recent warnings from experts and organizations like the Doomsday Clock reflect growing concerns that humanity stands on the brink of a catastrophic conflict, making the need for diplomacy and de-escalation more urgent than ever. Let's dive deep into the scriptures and take a look at some relevant passages and interpretations that could provide some insight. However, we need to remember that these interpretations rely on symbolic language, as the prophets often describe future events using terms and imagery that wasn't in their own time. If we look at Zechariah 14:12, this is the plague which the Lord will strike on the nations that fought against Israel. Their flesh will rot, they will still stand on their feet. Their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths. This vivid description of sudden and catastrophic disruption has been compared by some to effects of a nuclear blast, where extreme heat and radiation could cause such devastation instantly. In Ezekiel 38:39, Gog and Magog, these chapters describe a future battle involving a coalition of nations against Israel. The destruction of invading armies includes fire, sulfur, and widespread devastation. Ezekiel 38:22, I will execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed. I will pour down torrents of rain, hailstones, and burning sulfur on him, and on his troops, and on the many nations with him. Some interpreters suggest that this could symbolize advanced weaponry, possible nuclear in nature, given the scale of the destruction and devastation described. In Joel 2:30 and 31, I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. This apocalyptic imagery could describe the after effects of a nuclear explosion, including firestorms and widespread smoke, and the atmospheric disturbances leading to the darkening of the sky. If we look in the New Testament, in the book of Revelation, contains a vivid imagery of destruction that some interpret resembling the effects of nuclear war as well. Revelations 6:12 through 14, this is the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to the earth. Every mountain and island was removed from its place. This could describe the fallout of a nuclear war, darkness and massive upheaval that might result from a nuclear explosion. Revelations 8:7, this is the first trumpet. Hail and fire mixed with blood were hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up. A third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. This passage has been interpreted by some as resembling widespread destruction caused by nuclear detonations or massive fires following them. Revelations 9:18, a third of mankind was killed by 3 plagues of fire, smoke, and sulfur that came out of their mouths. Some see this as an apocalyptic description of weapons capable of killing large portions of humanity, potentially fitting a nuclear context. In the Great Tribulation, during this widespread suffering and death are prophesied, including war, plagues, and disasters. Matthew 24:6 through 7. You will hear of wars and rumor of wars. Nations rise against nation and the kingdom against kingdom. The scale and intensity of such conflicts could point to modern warfare, including nuclear weapons. We are seeing potential for this as we speak. These descriptions of intense heat could be the effects of a nuclear explosion produces this extreme heat, which this could be very well what they're talking about. 2 Peter 3:10, the heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything in it will be laid bare. While this passage often refers to the final judgment, it could be interpreted as symbolic of the intense destruction and fire, including nuclear devastation. Revelation 6:8-9, this is the fourth bowl. The sun was allowed to scorch people with fire. They are seared by intense heat. And some view this as describing the extreme conditions resulting from radiation and other catastrophic events. There's symbolism of modern warfare. Certain images in Revelation could represent modern weaponry, though they were described using ancient terms. Revelation 9:7-10, they talk about locusts. These locusts looked like horses prepared for battle. On their heads wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. They had tails with stingers like scorpions. Some interpret these locusts as symbolic of military technology, such as fighter jets or missiles, or possibly delivering nuclear payloads. There's numerous warnings about human destruction. While the Bible emphasizes God's sovereignty, human action, including the development of these weapons of mass destruction, are often seen as part of the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Revelation 11:18, the nations were angry and your wrath has come to destroy those who destroy the earth. This could be a warning against humanity's potential for self-destruction through war or environmental harm. We have to remember that we need to have caution when we look at these passages and in our interpretation. The Bible's apocalyptic imagery is rich with symbolism and open to various interpretations. While some see parallels between nuclear war and Revelation events, others caution against forcing modern ideas into ancient text. We have to let the ancient texts speak for themselves. The key messages in the certainty of God's ultimate judgment and the hope of redemption for believers. But these verses ought to be a reminder of the need to reach lost people and the urgency to spread the gospel message. Whether or not nuclear war is directly mentioned in the Bible, but the Bible warns of catastrophic events that will precede Christ's return and urges believers to remain faithful and watchful. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you've enjoyed this content, please like the videos. Please subscribe to the channel. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, hit that little notification bell so you'll be notified of new content that gets put out. And again, I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me to the end.